Hey guys, Matt here from Rec Brewery. Got another beer for you here to review. This is going to be another grain to glass series. This is the Irish red ale that I made recently. So, isn't that a nice looking beer? Nice looking beer. Well, I'm going to go ahead and show you some footage of the brew day, and we'll come back and talk about this. So, see you soon. All right, it's a brew day. Here's our grains. A little bit lower of an ABV of normal. Going for a lighter beer. This is for the Irish red. I'm calling it Red-Headed Stepchild. We have 9.5 pounds of grains in here, and we're going to be using most of the local malt today. We're going to try out the Carolina Malt House grains. So in here we have 4.5 pounds of the 2-row that they have, the Carolina Gold. We've got 4.5 pounds of their Carolina Vienna, 4 ounces of pale chocolate, and 4 ounces of that Special X. Thanks to Fire and I Josh from the brewtubers for sending me some, and I shipped over some to Irondale Matt as well because he's going to use it for a similar recipe. So yeah, we'll see what this malt is like here. Let's go ahead and get the crushing. Alright, got the grains in there. Even them out a little bit. There we go. Let's get the salts put on the top. So we got a little bit of everything in this one. Some gypsum, some calcium chloride, some Epsom salt, a little bit of pickling lime. Just did that for the additional calcium and raising up the pH a bit. And I'm going to put a little bit of lactic acid in it this time instead of the acid grains. There's my lactic acid there. I think it just calls for 0.5 milliliters, so a very small amount to kind of balance everything out, and hopefully we'll hit the pH that we want. So there we go. Still waiting for the water to come up to temperature. Actually going to have to probably bump this up a little bit because I need to mash at 155 today, so we're going to strike a little higher to make sure we hit that temperature. And a shout out to our buddy Josh from brewtubers, Fire and I's Brewery, and he sent me this sticker as well. This is for Pitch Perfect Brewing Supply in Murphy, North Carolina. I assume that's where the Special X had come from. Thanks, buddy, for sending me the Special X. We'll see how it goes in this recipe. First time ever using this grain, and man, I just couldn't find it around here, so really appreciate you hooking me up here on such short notice to get what I need. Alright, we can start to see now the water coming up around the edges of all the grain. I'll tell you what, this smells amazing. This Carolina malt has like this sweetness smell to it. It's like sweet bread. It's really interesting. So let's take a look here. Yeah, we're right about there. Let's go ahead and shut it off. And I always, every now and then I like to double check, see where we're at here. So we're gonna have to go up on the HLT about 4 gallons, well, maybe 3 to fully submerge this. So we're going to top this off with the cold water. It should bring down this down a bit, and that way we can hit our mash temperature of 155. So let's go ahead and do that now. Give this mash a good stir. Make sure there's no clumps in there. Shouldn't be. Underletting really cuts that down dramatically. I love doing that in my process. Alright, now we're going to hook up all the hoses and we'll get the recirculation going. Alright, we've got a good recirculation going there now. We'll let this recirculate for a little while, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then we'll check a pH reading. Alright, pick up a pH sample. pretty much right where I wanted to be. I was aiming for 5.3. That's pretty much right there. Actually, the sample, it's looking a little darker than I wanted. It's supposed to be a red ale. It's supposed to be kind of have, I mean, it does have some reddish hues in there. So maybe it'll lighten up a little bit once we go through the whole brew day, but we will see. There's the Juggernaut Kvike. Woke it up after sitting in my fridge for a year. Should be pretty good. It's a very resilient yeast. I had it on the yeast starter for a couple of days. Got plenty down there. A lot more than I put in. So that's well more than I need for this beer, but I'm going to put it in and I'll harvest some of this and save for future batches. All right, we're now sparging. And yeah, we're a couple minutes into this. So looking pretty good. The color's looking better. A little lighter than it was in that sample. So it must have just been some concentrated work going on there with the color. So hopefully this comes out to be that nice red color. It's looking like it's going to be. Hopefully it's not too dark. But yeah, we'll see you once we're at the next step. All right, we got a nice rolling boil going there now. Turn down the power. Go ahead and start adding in our stuff. So 60 minutes. We got the Mistral hops that we're going to use from Jacob Valley from one of my hop boxes I got. We have a half an ounce we're going to put in at 60 minutes. Another half an ounce at 30, and then an ounce towards the end. And that's going to be everything we use on this. Very low alpha S's on this guy. It's 4.2. So all told, this should put us somewhere around 21, 22 IBUs, which is perfect for this style. And we got the yeast nutrient and the Whirl Flock tablet. So let's go ahead and start adding this stuff. All right, 30 minutes means another hop drop. There's the other half ounce of Mistral. Boom. All right, 10-minute mark means yeast nutrient and Whirl Flock tablet. Boom. All right, 5-minute mark means the last ounce of the Mistral hops. In you go. Boom. All right, we're now transferring to the fermenter. Kvike likes it warm, and this ground water is pretty cold, so I need to start transferring now because we're already down to 70. I was going to ferment this thing at probably 75 to 80. It'll still ferment fine at 70, but I'm going to set the ferment chamber to 75. But I normally go to about 100, even lower than 100 in the kettle before I start transferring. But with how cold the water is here, yeah, we need to start transferring straight away. Well, we were aiming for 1045. It's a little better than that. I will take it. Now we're all transferred over. And the fun part of cleaning up is coming soon. All right. Oh, we got the tilt. Go ahead and throw this guy right in here. And we have the yeast. So we have the Juggernaut Kvike. I'm going to use, I think I'm going to decant some of this time around. I don't need all this extra beer on the top. Put the heat belt on there so we can bring it up, because this did say it was about 74, I believe is what it said. I was watching it as it was filling. Yeah, we got the airlock on there, and this thing's still kind of coming up temp. It's just adjusting to what it's set to, but I have it set to 75 for the ferment chamber, so that heat belt will get going and get us there. But here, check this out. Now I can watch some brewing while I'm brewing. But the other reason I did this is so we can switch the source on this down, and I can keep an eye on the tilt. So yeah, we'll see what happens here once this registers. It should come up. The only thing I'm not sure about, I have the Raspberry Pi here. Props to my wife for making this cool, she made this cool little container for it. I upgraded the Raspberry Pi. I was using a 0W. This is the 4B, I believe. So this one allows me to hook up the HDMI cable and keyboard and mouse and everything to it. It's got more of a graphical interface to it. Yeah, it's actually looking like it's not going to pick up that fermenter all the way down inside of that stainless steel fermenter. So I may have to move this again inside the ferment chamber. I was hopeful that this new Raspberry Pi might be a little more powerful, but it's not looking like it's registering, so give me a minute and I'll move it. Let's see if we can get it to come up. Okay, yep, just as I feared, it was too far away from the fermenter, and I guess between the stainless steel and maybe this freezer, just too much interference, so it wasn't picking it up. So I've moved it closer. I noticed when I just came right off the edge, right around here, it was fine. So I may come up with something better to, you know, attach this to the side, but it seems to be working okay on the side. That way it doesn't have to be in the ferment chamber. Great. I saw some bubbling going on here. Let's check it out. It's been about 4 hours since we've pitched the yeast and closed everything up in here. It's the Juggernaut Kvike. Tilt says it's sitting at 75 degrees currently. You can see just getting started here. So hopefully, I expect to see a little bit more activity in the morning, but yeast starter definitely helped it out. It's already getting going here. And I'm loving this setup. I just washed off the red one after cleaning out the fermenter from the pretzel beer. I just have it sitting in that cup of water right there just to kind of make sure everything's working as it should. So you can see both of them on there. So yeah, it came in at 1048 according to the hydrometer. The tilt, which is pretty close to what I saw on the refractometer, which was right around 1049, 1050. May have been misreading it, maybe it was 1048, but they're all pretty close. So yeah, that's pretty good. This beer was supposed to be 1045, so I'll take the win of being extra efficient. All right, we're now transferring the red ale, the Irish red ale. Well, it's not quite red in the tube. Maybe it'll look different in the glass. But yeah, there it is. It's got a couple pounds of pressure on the SS Brewtech brew bucket, just enough to get it pushed through. And filling up the keg. All right, here it is, the Irish red ale. Calling this the redheaded stepchild. Yeah, it came out really nice. It's not super clear. It definitely has some haze to it. I'm not sure if that's ever going to clear out or not. It might over time. I only kegged this a couple weeks ago, but it does have some nice glass appeal. It does look good in the glass. Shout out to Josh from Fire and Ice Brewery. This is his glass from Pitch Perfect Brewing Supply. So there you go. Nice etched glass, adding to my collection. So thank you, buddy, for sending that. I do want to thank him. I know I think I called him out in the brewing footage, but thank you again to Josh for coming in clutch to sending me this special malt. The Special X from Best Malts. I can't find it anywhere around here, and I had a heck of a time finding it online. So he came through and shipped it over to me pretty quickly, a whole pound of it. So what I did was I split it in half, sent half of it over to Matt at Irondale Brewing because he's trying to make a similar beer. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Matt puts together with his beer, and maybe I can get a box from him possibly, and we can test these out side by side. The big difference I think is going to be, I think we're using the same ingredients mostly, but I believe Matt, since I'm using the Carolina malt in a lot of my base for this beer, he's going to use whatever is available to him there. So I think that's going to be the deciding factor on some of the key differences in the beer. I believe everything else, if I'm not mistaken, unless Matt decides to make a tweak there, I think it's pretty similar. But most of what's in this beer is Carolina malt. So I'm looking forward to continuing with this malt. It's been good. Spoiler alert, this is probably like my third or fourth glass. Really nice beer. I'm having fun drinking on this. But yeah, there's mostly the Carolina Gold 2-row in this, and their Vienna in this, with a touch of pale chocolate and Special X. I will say that the Special X, new malt to me. I never used it before. I know it's supposed to kind of be like a dark crystal kind of malt, some dark caramel notes to it. maybe some dried fruit, some chocolate characters in it. So that should be interesting. Plus I used chocolate. So when I was tasting on this the other day, definitely picking up some of those characters. Mistral hops, that's another new thing for me. Came out of one of my hop boxes. I've never used that before. And I know Mr. Hops is supposed to impart like a sweet fruit, citrusy, floral kind of notes. Wasn't high alpha acids, I think somewhere around 4%, so I don't expect to get a whole lot of hop character out of this. But yeah, appearance-wise, it definitely fits the bill. I would have preferred it to be more red. You know, one of the things that I noticed, I actually learned recently about the Carolina malt. The SRM of them was not quite what I expected them to be. Of some of the malts, like some of the Munichs, the Vienna. What else did I get from them? The Sunset Wheat. All those, the Lovibond number that I had off their website was kind of a range, so I just kind of guessed on what it was when I threw it into Brewfinder. I actually reached out to Carolina Malt after seeing this beer and asked them what the actual CRM was of some of those grains. Got the actual numbers. So that kind of explains why the look of this is a little bit different. Because I think some of their malts, what I had recorded down were not. They were lighter than I thought they were. They're actually a little bit darker. So that explains why this is a little darker than I expected. So if I go to make this again, I might see if I can get it to look a little more red. This is probably more of like a dark copper color. Still definitely looks the part. It's still nice in the glass. The cap is definitely sticking around on this beer, so head retention doesn't seem to be a problem with this beer. The aroma on this, to me, it's kind of got like a nice little hints of like nuttiness, brightiness, a little bit of toastiness, maybe even. Definitely getting some of that chocolate in there. Some of the caramel notes that you might get. Maybe toffee, I might say, would be something else I might use as a character. Might be able to pick up a little bit of the honey, possibly, and some biscuit coming out of that Vienna malt. I don't think I'm picking up much of the hop character. I know, you know, with the small amount that's really in this and the small alpha acids, probably wouldn't expect to get much out of that. I think really what it's contributing to this beer is just a well balance to kind of cut down on all the malt. All right, enough talking about it. Let's check it out. Cheers. Yeah, that's nice. I love how the taste on this just follows the nose almost to a T. Definitely picking up some of that, a lot of that Vienna character, the nuttiness, maybe a little bit of that honey that's coming out of that. I think that's what I'm tasting anyway. Definitely some caramel notes, a little bit of that chocolate. But a nice, I would say just a well balance of all those things. I really can't pinpoint or pick out any one particular thing. Those are just all the sort of the descriptors that are flying at me as I'm tasting this, and almost in all equal amounts actually. Yeah, that's a fun beer. That's a really neat beer. I like how you get a little bit of that chocolate in there with it. Everything just, you know, nicely balanced, and just a little hints of all these different things. Yeah, and the Kvike, very clean yeast. The Juggernaut, rather, very clean yeast. Kind of reminds me of like a USO5, like a Chico yeast. I believe that's kind of what it was marketed as when it was around. Pretty clean, and it really, you know, not imparting any special flavors out of the yeast that I can tell. And it was funny because the yeast was sitting in the fridge for a year since the last time I had used it. Kickstarted it right away in a starter, no problem. Right, it went right to work in the beer within a couple of hours, and here you go. It did a great job. Got it all the way down to what 10-11 is what I have recorded. So it's about a 5% beer, just shy of, I think. Yeah, it's got good lacing on the glass. Look at that. Just a good beer. I haven't brewed an Irish Red in years, and this one turned out okay. Well, Matt, I'm looking forward to getting I'm hoping to get a sample of yours so I can look at these side by side. I'll certainly be sending you one of these so you can compare the same. Thank you again to Josh for sending me that special malt. I really appreciate that. Huge thanks for the sponsors to brewtubers. Hey, come check us out, brewtubers.com, and join the fun with the rest of us. Thank you to our sponsors as well, brewtubers, 5 Star Chemicals, and to beer and wine hobby. So we'll see you guys on the next video. Until next time, cheers.